Yeah, have you figured out what to say?
No, I'm just here.
So if we're going to go on a road trip, we're going to need to modify the truck somewhat and add some kind of micro camper to it, some way to sleep, eat, carry all our gear around in case we end up, I don't know, in some kind of place like, say, Joshua Tree. Let's get to it. Okay folks, so basically this will be the side of the camper box that's going in here, but because at the end of the bed it's narrower than the 3 feet of the bed, I can't slide anything in. So it has to be able to be slid in like this, up high, and then dropped down in place. Well, you can see this isn't going to work, especially with the chain for the tailgate here. Beauty. Clunk.
Nice.
Okay, here is the box installed, and yes, it swings up and down. Caitlin says should be recording.
Probably.
Basically, we've neglected to record a bunch of this. We have the camper. The camper. We call this the camper. Back in the truck. Yes, yeah. We've got that done. And we've been cutting up wood, and we have some various pieces that are going to be the top. At the front, there's like a folding up bench magic thing that can happen, and all it is sort of this fantasy in my head, and now I got to turn that into real. And I'm really hoping that you're going to make it happen, right?
I'll try.
Okay, so what we're doing, I have created a few control points to create the support ledgers for the future bench thing that we got going on here. So this is all happening kind of haphazardly. Okay.
Yeah.
Cushy. All right, it also doesn't have much structure below it, so think light.
Huh? Pretty comfy.
Well, but the proof of concept out of the way, it's time to start putting it together, which means a piano hinge. Bought a really, really cheap brass plated or whatever this is. Yeah, and okay, some of you are going to be upset with this. I'm going to put the screws into the end grain of the plywood. Yeah. Like everything I do, I'm always looking for tricks to make alignment stuff easier. So basically the hinge would go on this way, so this panel could swing around. If you look at the leaf of the hinge, it would swing around that way. But it's kind of hard to line this up, to figure it all out. So if I flip it over, and I put the barrel of the hinge in the gap between the planks, it automatically sets up my spacing perfectly for me. And then you say, well, that's no good. The hinge is on backwards. Well, the holes are perfectly symmetrical. So once I put in a few screws in this direction, I just take it off, flip it over this way, and put them in the same holes, and the alignment is perfect. Okay, so enter the self-centering drill bit, right? Scoot. 1, 2. Now we only have to put a few in, just enough to line it up so that when we flip it over again on the other direction, it stays put. That's pretty good for left-handed.
Thank you. I'm trying.
There's a bulkhead we've got to put in right there. And that will have a massive improvement on the support of my heavy butt. That's going to be right there. Nice. Okay.
Ooh. No, that's fixed.
All right. My turn to test it.
Ooh. Feel good?
I'm sorry. I feel like a king. Well, you're only going to get half. Here, you have the whole cushion.
Oh, how kind.
I'll be gentlemanly about that. There you go.
Woo! That's scared.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's good. And I feel very secure.
Do you feel secure?
Yeah.
Well, that's false. All right. It's actually not that bad.
No, it's good.
And this isn't for every day. Most days when you're camping, you're outside, right? This is only if it's miserable and it's raining and you... Is the truck moving? No. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is too low, right?
Yes.
So, here. Let's take a couple of these. You're moving too long. You're supposed to tuck them under the table. When you're eating, like if you were having a meal.
Yeah. But I want it closer, probably.
Okay, here we go. It'll be adjustably slidable.
Yeah.
See. You know, this is cool.
This is really cool. I like it.
I'm having so much fun, I keep forgetting to show you what I'm up to. I mean, I enjoy everything else I've ever showed you before too, but I think it's because I'm working with King. Really, I think. So we've put the ledgers in to support the bed when it's in bed mode, and we've tested that so we can fold it from bed mode to seating mode very quickly and easily. So now we're working on the last panel. So basically, there's going to be a panel here that covers up the galley, so to speak. But this is the same surface panel that is going to move forward and up to become a table. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make, instead of putting the ledgers at the same height as these ones, I'm going to put the ledgers lower and put battens permanently on the side of this. So here the battens will sit on the lower ledgers, but when I move forwards it'll be sitting on the upper ledgers. I'll show you, okay? Okay, we're going to do some stuff. Okay, so as we advance this, the entire design of it, other than based on the shape of the human body, is based on this old cooler. And so I want it to be able to be as far back as possible. And so that bulkhead ends up right at the front of it. So anyone that's ever worked with construction adhesive knows it is the most magical, incredibly strong, incredibly useful, and remarkably economical adhesive. But it's like molasses. It just climbs out all over everything all the time, which is certainly annoying. The trick here will be to drop this in right on top of that, and then tip it back a bit, put some glue up in this line, and just roll it into the glue as I push the side out a little bit. It's kind of hack, but it'll have to do. And then to keep it in place, I'm going to throw some toe screws in, just some tiny little number 6 screws. That'll hold it in place while the glue dries, then we can take it out and re-screw it from the outside. That's enough, this isn't fun. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little fillet of construction adhesive in all these corners to make everything extra strong. So I'm cutting the side panels now. These ones flip up and over to have access to here, but I have to cut them so that they'll clear this socket in the capping. So I'm just in my standard way, because I don't have a compass. You think one of these days I'd buy a compass? But trying to find some perfect thing out of the dumpster here that might be the right, oh, that's not quite big enough. We gotta go back to the dumpster. I'll find someone that threw it just the right thing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's that end. The middle one needs a notch out for around here. The far one needs the same curve here. Some jigsaw work. Let's see if that's perfect. Perfect! I love it.
Nice.
I'm also going to route this edge so it'll be nice and smooth. Put a little finger hole in here so we can flip it up. This is more fun than I thought it was going to be. It's great when you also have a really, really fantastic assistant.
Oh, thanks, Dad.
The hinges are going to end up in regular hinge mode against that face and against the edge grain of the plywood, so that these can open all the way over and sit there. That means setting them up is, as I mentioned before, opening them and putting them in the gap the wrong way and letting the barrel be the spacer. It's a little harder to do that kind of in the air like this, but oh great, well done. A little one, thanks.
Welcome.
So now I take them off and flip it over so it's in the proper orientation. Okay, and that goes. I'm going to try and start without okay. Here we are! Here we are, we got the side lockers in. Really pleased with that. That worked out great. Now again, kind of rough, but super pleased with it. Now what I'm going to do is take the hole saw and cut some little finger holes so it's easier to open these up as well in the main hatches. Got to figure out all that. But that should be pretty straightforward. Then route all the edges. Route the edges of the finger holes, top and bottom. And then Caitlin here will start doing some varnishing. To avoid tear out, go part way through and then back the other way. That way you don't punch through and make a mess. 16, yeah, I like that. Okay, what I'm figuring out now is, like the finger hole, I'm going to put a hand hole here because I'm not sure a finger is strong enough to lift these things. So 2 holes, jigsaw between them. Feels good. It's about the right size. And if my hand fits, your hand will fit. Okay, so this mess is really starting to come together. I'm really pleased. There's kind of tough to figure out exactly what we're doing next. Caitlin's off to get herself some SPF 1000 because she's burning, and I'm her dad, right? So go get some anyway, whatever. So everything is varnished. That's the rear panel that covers the galley, all the side lockers, and the double one that folds that covers that turns into the seating area, whatever it is. Okay, so now I gotta start working on the galley. Again, it's based on this cooler, this barbecue, a cook stove that's gonna go in here, not a cook stove, but a camp stove, and water jugs, as well as some of the water jugs will go down here, plus toolboxes. Basically, I have a drawing on my computer that is not worth looking at, but it's a bit of a Tetris puzzle trying to figure out how all the fixed size components are going to fit in here. And you'd think a pickup truck is enough space to take 2 people across the country, but you'd be surprised. Okay, so carry on. This is definitely a little bit indulgent. I am going to polish the truck. When I first built the truck, it was fresh paint, British Racing Green, looked really good. Well, it's got all kinds of chips because I didn't really do very good prep. But it was still shiny at least. So, yeah, I'm going to polish it. I bought a cheap polisher and some not so cheap polish. And let's see if we can shine up a bit. I don't think I've ever actually done this in my whole life. Alright then, well, step 1 done. I mean, there's no doubt it's a lot shinier than it was. Certainly the imperfections are showing up a lot more because of the white rubbing compound in them, but let's get some wax on. Well, this is how it all turned out. Super pleased. Please disregard the fact that we're in Joshua Tree, but I never got to shoot this particular clip. So basically, it's a big flat platform, which at night is a bed, made up of the 3 pieces of foam rubber that fit down the middle on top of these 3 panels. One of them, during the day, fits in here, and this is Geordie's bed. And so this is his day bed, where he can sit in here when we're on the road, and that works out great. Keeps him down and out of the wind, and no chance of him falling out. The next panel back is basically a storage panel where we keep all kinds of luggage and stuff, and extra foam during the day. Because on this leg of the journey, my daughter's with me, we have 2 beds, and this makes up the extra foam to make the other bed down the other side. But when I'm camping alone, I'll only have 1 down the middle. The last section is a removable section that will flip up either way over the galley, and that's worked out really well. I'll show you how that works. And then down both sides we have 6 little fold up lockers that also worked out really well, and they all just fit right into on top of the fender wells in the Land Rover, and so there's no other cabinetry. In fact, when these flip over on both sides, the whole thing can be lifted out because all of this is just sitting in the fender wells. So let me show you how this turns into a seat. Basically pull out this piece of foam, put it up here, pull out Geordie's piece of foam, put it up here, and then this just slides back like this, back down. I don't know if you can see over that, but that is a pretty sweet little place to sit, which is remarkably easy to get into. And extremely comfortable. In the shade, got the view. I love it. There's an added feature. This is in its couch mode, lots of room. Actually, the whole thing can be arranged and put in the other way, facing forward. I'm not going to do it now. but the back panel, which is the cover for the galley, lifts up, and because it has extra deep sides on it, when I place it on the sliders in this part of the truck, it's extra high, and that's desk height. Worked out so well. I just love it. Just love it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, from here I can simply put the table aside and I have full access to the galley. Into the fridge, water, stove, I can bring that all up here, and I have access to all the lockers for the various things I might need out of them. To be perfectly honest, it's bloody brilliant. Okay, let's put it all away for now, and I gotta get geared up to do some work. Edit the video that you saw a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Oh, okay, so this is Beer of the Week on the road, live to you today from San Francisco, from Standard Deviant Brewing, and we looked for a while for this. There's a lot of downtown joints that really didn't do it for us, but anyway, this place looks awesome. They also give you some sort of munchie. We've got the hazy IPA from them, and we're going to have a sip of that, see what we think of that. Ooh, I could drink that all day long.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, that is so good.
That's awesome.
Okay, wow. All right, so we've been having a great trip, fantastic. Some of you will not be able to figure out the whole timeline thing, but
neither can we.
Yeah, exactly, neither can we. I think we just showed you building the trailer. We're in San Francisco. We're going to head a little bit south, a little bit east, maybe Vegas, maybe Grand Canyon, maybe Joshua Tree, up again. Anyway, we're going to end up crossing the nation, ending up in Montreal for Caitlin's convocation, university graduation, which is only in a couple of weeks, so we got to get moving. So follow along, enjoy, and see ya next week.
That's really good.
That is awesome.
A wonderful thing.
Okay, we're back, just because we have to say, yeah, we switched spots. Where are we?
Standard Deviant Brewing. And I wouldn't let him, he had to elaborate a bit more on this beer, because it's, I mean, I'm only 22, and so I have a limited beer experience, but it's the best beer I've ever had.
This is brilliant. Maybe the best IPA. I'm happy to say this is the best IPA I've ever had, and I live in Victoria, where there's some awesome IPA. If you get to San Francisco, unless you live in San Francisco, skip downtown. Get out to Standard Deviant, which is kind of...
I mean, maybe it's downtown. We don't know the city very
well. We don't
well.
even know where we are, but we're not down where all the tourists are anyway. This is your beverage.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. The other ones are good too, right?
No, the thing is that the other ones are also delightful, but I definitely wish I had a full. Maybe after.